Greetings, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Geek Talk, where we give expert knowledge to entrepreneurs and we bring small business owners from all around the world to broadcast their business, spread their message, and share a little expertise in their entrepreneurial journey. In case this is your first time tuning in, please use the chat feature in the broadcast and let StreamYard know that it is okay for us to broadcast your comments into the live stream. And if you would, let us know where you are tuning in from today. I am so thankful for your time here, and I want to say hello and welcome to all of my Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram family and friends. Tonight, we are closing out our month of celebrating Women's History Month. And because Women's History Month is very important to me, all month long, I've been very intentional about spreading the good news about what women's history means to me. And so I'd like to share a quote for today. And this was posted on my Facebook business page. If you are not following, please do so. It is the quote that says, "Women are the true builders of society." And that is tonight's quote. I am again very pleased to be here with all of you. Hello, Derek. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Geek Talk. We appreciate you streaming in live from Marietta, Georgia this evening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to bring in our very special guest of the evening, a woman who wears many hats, but wears them oh so well. She has a story to tell, and that's why I've chosen tonight's guest, Lavenia Whitner. She is a phenomenal woman, and we would like to bring her into the broadcast this evening and celebrate her story. Greetings, Lavenia.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being our guest tonight. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone? Tell them a little bit about yourself and your business.
All right. My name is Lavenia Whitner. I'm part of Team Whitner. I'm a realtor here in the Metro Atlanta area. We have a team, top producing team in the area. And I'm also the 2023 president for Women's Council of Realtors Cobb Network.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. I am working the comments across all of the platforms. Again, shout out to everyone on Facebook, all of you all on LinkedIn, and those YouTubers this evening. I want to also just give a very, very special shout out to all of our realtor family, all the realtor peeps. Whoop, whoop. Shout out to all of those professionals doing great things out in these real estate streets. So I want to take a moment and open up our conversation about your background before real estate and your professional career before you chose entrepreneurship. Tell us a little bit about your backstory.
Sure. My degree is in computer science. I graduated from Spelman College and went into software consulting and implementations back in the day. It's over 25 years ago-ish, maybe longer. I started off as a consultant implementing ERP software, which stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. So it's more of a back office software, things that help businesses run their business. And as part of a consultant, I was there to help companies take this software, configure it to their business, and then get them up and going. So I would do training, consulting, guiding, a lot of things that we do currently in real estate, honestly, in terms of guidance. And then I became a project manager as well. So I ran projects in teams of folks all across the world, and then began doing practice management. That's where I ran a group in the Southeast of consultants and project managers that reported to me. When I was a practice manager, I had as many as 35 people, direct reports, reporting to me at one of the biggest technology companies in the world, or being Oracle. Then I moved over into business development and started my trek towards sales and consulting sales.
So I absolutely love that journey and the trajectory of the multiple roles in tech. So I have a similar background and story where you know how it is in technology, which is still a mostly male dominated industry, which sometimes gets a little bit difficult for us to navigate when there are not others that look like us. So I had a question about your thoughts on mentorship. And did you receive mentorship in your IT career before you transition into your entrepreneurship journey?
Mm, that's a really good question. I would say yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a formalized mentorship kind of scenario. Um, but informally, I was an information sponge because I
Mm-hmm.
knew, especially coming straight out of college, y'all. I mean, 2 weeks out of college, I'm consulting with the software company, and people are paying a lot of money, right,
Mm-hmm.
for my expertise, of which I still had to build at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of colleagues that I worked with that I could learn from. So what I would do is listen to them, right? I had not been in the business a long time. I have not been in manufacturing or supply chain or human resources or accounting the way many of them had. And so I would listen and learn from them and apply their stories to mine.
Mm-hmm.
So if situation that they overcame and they told me about it, I learned from that. But also, I would use that to say to a client, "Hey, be careful of X, Y, Z. This is what can happen, or this is what happened with a colleague of mine, so on and so forth." So that's how I started out in a very informal way.
Yeah.
As my career progressed, I I made a point to volunteer my time. With Oracle had something called Oracle Volunteers, and so I would make sure to go to I would go to the schools with a couple of projects I did where I would just go read, right, to kids. And I remember one project where I was having a really really tough day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Before I showed up for that particular volunteer activity,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the opportunity to read first to some kindergartners. And I don't know if you've ever spent time around,
Oh yeah.
5 and 6 year olds. Their energy is infectious, so that helped me overcome some of the challenges I was feeling, and I started feeling good and reading to them just little simple stories in their classroom. They didn't want me to leave; they were grabbing my legs, don't want to go. But I had to go to read to the fourth graders next as part of my effort there. So I went to read with the fourth graders, and they're a little bit older, a little bit more reserved, but we still made a great connection. And I was reading Cinderella stories, very different variations of Cinderella stories. That was their class that they were doing at the time. And then when we finished up, same thing. They didn't want me to leave.
Mm.
And so their teacher was like, "Okay, well, do you have time? Can you stay a little bit longer?" And I said, "Well, I have a little bit of time. Sure, I can do that."
Mm-hmm.
And I did. They went off to recess, came back, and then now we're off script, right? And I'm like, "Well, what do you guys want to talk about? This is your time. You asked me to stay. What
Yep.
would you like to talk about?" So we talked about, tech,
Yeah.
computers, um, you know, th- their learning. And so I tried to relate it to them in their fourth grade world. And we talked about the internet and that kind of thing. And also to take care of their best computer, which is right
Ooh.
here,
Ooh, I like that.
right? Everything that you have in a computer, that you see in a computer, some person or someone sat down and coded that. Everything came from, well, even AI today, but still everything started off someone hands to keyboards doing some work. So that came out of someone's brain or a bunch of someone's brains, and everyone has that ability and capacity. And so that was something I shared with them. And their teacher came to me afterwards. She said, "I never heard anyone explain it like that before. Thank you so much." You
That's
know.
awesome. That's awesome. But that speaks to the soft skills that the technologists typically don't have, right? And that's a whole nother world that opens up the male dominated versus the female, because there's a different vibe and energy that shows up in the boardroom when it's a female leader and
Right.
squad versus a male dominated squad. So I thank
Mhm.
you so much for sharing your story. I just wanted to take a pause for a moment and give a shout out to all of our live viewers here at the Geek Talk Show, where we give expert knowledge to entrepreneurs, and our special guest celebrating Women's History Month with us this evening is Lavenia Whitner, and she is sharing her story. Please post your comments or questions for our guests, and we will bring them live into the feed, or we will catch them on the replay and comment there. Please allow StreamYard to share your comments so we can bring them live into the broadcast. And we are streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook this evening. So thank you for that, Lavinia. I want to shift gears a little bit, because there was a point in your IT career that you said, there may be something to this real estate entrepreneurship. What caused you to shift? And how's it going for you in the real estate world?
Well, I would start off to say I wouldn't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, right? To borrow that from Mr. LL Cool J. In that, even though when I finally made the transition into real estate, first part time, then full time, I was already an investor in real estate years before. Um, and I had done that with intention and with purpose. I had done some self training. Like I said, I'm an information sponge. So I applied that to real estate when I became an investor. I bought my first investment property back in 2005, a duplex in Smyrna. I did that for mainly tax reasons, to be honest with you. With my income increasing in the consulting IT world, I am being a single woman. I needed some places to put my money and to have a little bit of a tax break. So that's where I started with real estate back then. Fast forward to, the corporate, what I'll call corporate merry-go-round. When you get to a certain point in your career or mid-career, as I was, and things that are going on even now, you hear about the layoffs and the rumors of layoffs. Well, guess what? That's been around for a long time in tech, and at some point you get flung off the merry-go-round, right? And you I personally decided I didn't want to get back on. I'm tired of that, having someone else control my destiny, building someone else's dream and not building mine. And I decided I'm just going to stick with real estate. I'm going to go at it hard, full time with my husband, Derek, and continue that path. It took me a little while to come around to that. It's not how I started off in terms of um, the transition. But once I made that decision, that's where I've been. I've been full time in real estate since the end of 2019.
And this is what I love so much, is that you actually entered real estate pre-COVID, meaning you didn't even think about pandemic proofing your real estate business. So what did that look like for you and your team, as you're not just growing a new business, but you're trying to learn some tech to help support your business? How did that work for you?
Well, honestly, one of the first things I did once I transitioned and decided, okay, I'm going to do real estate full time, it was to look at how can I accelerate my learning about the industry, and that's where Women's Council comes in for me. That's part of my why, was I needed and wanted the exposure to the industry, because, like prior in my career, once I've made that decision, I'm going at it whole hog, right? And I need to learn everything that I can. And Women's Council afforded that opportunity to me. I started off one as a member, and then eventually they asked me to be a marketing team lead, which I was learning and working on marketing for our team Whitner at the time, making some changes to how we were doing our business, implementing things further like Facebook ads, doing more on our Facebook, our business page, cleaning up, tightening it up, Google, same thing. And then the opportunity with the marketing helped me not only help the association, or sorry, the council, but also helped me apply things to my business. So if you were to go back and look at our Team Whitner Instagram page as an example, the very first post that we made on that Instagram page, I had done from a workshop that was led by Marky Lemons during COVID. So it was virtual. She's out of Chicago. And that was a benefit to me because then I could learn from people that were all across the country and apply those learnings to our business. And so that very first Instagram post was, something super basic that I'd learned in an Instagram class. And then, it took off from there.
Now that is someone I know, like, and trust. Shout out to Marky Lemons. Wow, y'all. I
Awesome.
absolutely adore her, admire her work, and have also learned a thing or two for my real estate journey from her as a leading lady in real estate. So I do appreciate that we are all learning together and not competing with one another. So that brings me to the perfect segue in our broadcast to talk about our story as women and what it is that we want to leave a message of today. So I'm going to refer back to some of the questions that I sent you to get ready for tonight's broadcast and open with question 1. What unique challenges have you faced as a woman in business? So, tech consulting, real estate consulting, and how have you overcome those challenges and obstacles?
Well, when I first started out, like I said, I was fresh out of college and I had something what I termed as my triple constraint, right? Going back to my project management days. At the time, that triple constraint was one, I was young, right? I'm 22. Most of my peers at the time were in their 40s and older. Okay. Two, I'm Black, very obviously, right? And so in that field, there were really no one, maybe one person I can think of when I first started. There was a Black male that was at our company and in our office, but going to do projects and things, it was just me, myself, and I in that regard. And then three, as you've alluded to, I was a woman,
Yeah.
and in a very, 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 very male-dominated industry. It's better today, I think, but at that time, 25 plus years ago, just walking in the door, out of the gate, people are looking at you like, "Why are you here?
Mm.
What do you know?" And I mean, I had one lady on one project in Chicago say to me, "There's nothing new you can teach me." The minute she laid eyes on me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that going in. So there were things I did. Number one, I learned. I studied. I studied my job. So even though I had just gotten my degree in computer science, I spent time at night studying the software that I was teaching and implementing. I decided that if it's in those software manuals and books, if it's in there, I'm going to know it and I'm going to know it cold.
Yeah.
So my friends would laugh at me. They were like, "Dang, you studying harder for this job than you did all 4 years of school." And that's true, right?
Right.
Because I was in front of people teaching classes. I'm teaching general ledger class. I'm teaching accounts payable class and using the software, but also, you have to know a little bit of accounting in the background, a little bit of this in order to be credible. Now,
That's
in my
right.
case, I knew some of that because I'd actually taken accounting classes in college. Even as a
Mm-hmm.
tech person, I took business classes, I took economics.
Mm-hmm.
So I applied all of that to what I was doing. And all of those skills still serve me to this day. It's just in a different industry, in a slightly different way, but I can still guide and advise clients when the purchase of their home, budgeting, estimating, all those things.
Yes. Yes, Absolutely. And I can totally relate. So thank you for that. I would like to just take another pause for the cause and thank our viewers for tuning in tonight and showing the love. We so appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hello, Arnye. Thank you so much for being here. And for all of our guests that are near and far, thank you so much. Be sure that you connect with Lavenia. Go to her website. It is on the screen, teamwhitner.com, and be sure that you book those one-on-one consultations and tech talks with her because she is a phenomenal woman in business. I want to segue to our next question. And it talks about the important qualities that a woman needs to cultivate in order to succeed in both industries. And you can choose real estate over tech, tech over real estate, one, both, you go for it.
Yeah, I would say this, as I've alluded to, one, just highly competent, right? Do your homework, study the business, study the industry, and really, know it cold, right? That's the first thing that I would say, really for anyone, but especially for women. And then secondly is to be yourself, because everyone's different. Everyone brings something different to the table. When I came into tech as a young woman, I'm in a room with people, like I said, that some are old enough to be my grandfather. And so I cannot be that person. I do not have that person's life experience, but I do know what I know, and I'm confident in that, right? And as a consultant, and even now as a realtor, if there's something that I don't know, I'm not afraid to say, you know what? That's a great question. I don't know, but I'll go find the answer. And then you go find it.
I agree with all of those tips, and they actually do serve both industries. So, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom in that regard because there are certain skill sets that are not just innate for some people. They've got to be mentored and coached into the success that they have in their journeys. So, I'd like to keep it moving and go into our next question. It is, how do you stay motivated? What keeps you smiling every day?
So a couple things. One, I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. When I was in consulting, for the majority of my career, I loved what I did. It came out in how I engaged with people. I care. I care about them as individuals. I cared about my clients back then in their companies and helping them do better with their bottom line by using the software. I care about our real estate clients and trying to help them reach their dreams and goals through their real estate efforts and guiding them. So that's the main thing.
Yes. And I also think that it's important that everybody realizes that some people are not self motivated. Some people need the external forces and reinforcements in order to stay motivated, right? I talk about technology and wearables, right? And sometimes it takes my wearable to motivate me because I've been sitting down too long, right?
Right.
And then sometimes that's that external thing that, even though intrinsically I'm energized and I move a lot and I'm a busybody, that's still that little accountability there is sometimes necessary. So y'all get that little tech nugget if you like, because I definitely like my wearables. How about you?
I'm that's on my list of to get. I'm on the lookout for an Apple Watch. I want an Apple Watch. But I do want to add one thing,
Please do.
that I've always been self-motivated, so I've never had a problem with self-motivation. Of course, sometimes motivation goes like this, but I usually can come back to center, reorient myself, and move forward. But now at this point in my life, and for the last, I don't know, since 2003, when my grandmother passed, I made a promise to her, on her, as she was passing,
Mhm.
that I asked her, Granny, everybody called her Granny, whether you were her grandchild or not, everyone called her Granny. I said, Granny, is there anything that you want us to know, or that any regrets, anything like that? And she said no. but I do want it a millionaire in this family. That's what she said. And I said to her, well, I know you have at least two in the making.
All right. I like
So
that.
that for me, ultimately in the long run, when I get a little sideways or distracted or whatever's happening, it's like, nope, got to keep it moving.
That's right. Because it's not about us anymore, right? And those people that everything that they do in their life, it's about them. Those are the ones that they call narcissists. I believe y'all have heard about that word over the past few years, over some of the leadership that has been ruling our country as a nation. Okay. So I digress. Let's shift and segue into our next question, and then we've got to send out a special invitation to the people, don't we? All
Yeah.
right. What do you see as the biggest trends and opportunities for women right now in tech or in real estate?
I mean, I don't think you can turn the TV on without, or, not just the TV, but on the internet or read any kind of article without hearing about artificial intelligence, chat GPT, and then there's a plethora of different artificial intelligence technologies out there. In fact, they've been in development for a long time. It is really, really hard to write that type of code, especially natural language. Um, Artificial intelligence such as Chat GPT, I'm like amazed at what that can do, and I think that really opens. I know it's scary. It can be scary when used with nefarious means or intents, but it also can be a great help. It can be a great help in a little way. It can be a great help in a large way. And I think that's an opportunity where it really can level the playing field for folks because you can get things done quickly, accurately, and it just opens up some doors. I've heard a term recently like a prompt engineer, you know, as a job description that didn't exist 6 months ago, you know. And that's something you can do. A lot of it can be work from home, or you can go into the office. I mean, the pandemic has changed how we get work done in many ways. So that's one example. Here in real estate, I've used it to help me tighten up some of my real estate listing descriptions, do some research on some different topics, video scripts, things of that nature. Um, so that's one of the areas I see is really wide open for folks.
And I completely agree with you. And I am absolutely doing my due diligence, my testing, my research on behalf of clients and my own company to support that technology for people that hire our company for those types of services. So it is, there are trends. And in real estate, something that I feel very, very strongly about is staying current. And those certifications are there for us to do that. And there are multiple certifications that I re-up on the regular because the trends are always changing. So that gets me fired up and excited, right? So I want to take another pause for the cause and thank everybody for tuning in here as we get to our last segment of the half hour here on the Geek Talk Show. My name is Sabrina Lowery, and I am your host, the Tech Evangelist. And I am also here with our very special guest that we are celebrating her story, Lavenia Whitner. And I want to ask the one last question as we are closing out this month of celebrating women and the power of the woman and all the victories that we have had. How do you balance the demands of your career, the business, the home life, and all of the many hats that you wear? Where do you find your balance?
Number one, and going back to my project management days, what gets scheduled gets done. So I am pretty maniacal about my calendar, and so I try to make sure that if I need to do something, I put it on the calendar. There's also I have a shared calendar with Derek and the kids. I also I have a different calendar for my women's council activities, and I kind of put it all on one electronic calendar so I can kind of see it at a glance what all is going on and then where I have space. Two, I learned a long time ago, and I learned the hard way, quite frankly, that I need to take time for myself, and do self care, and that it's okay. Um, back in the day, I would used to go get a massage like once a month or something like that, or take a small trip or what have you. Now it just depends on how I feel and what's going on, but I try to take at least a day each week where I'm not doing everything and I'm just focused on kind of coming back to center. Because I am a it's something I learned online here recently. I'm an introverted extrovert, so I have to kind of take a pause for the cause because by the end of the week, my energy is really depleted.
Mhm,
And it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just how do you re-energize?
mhm,
And I re-energize with self. So I'm listening to music, I'm reading, I might be cooking for the family. That actually
mhm,
energizes me. It's an act of love.
mhm.
I cooked dinner last night. I made spaghetti for the fam, and we had our family dinner. Um, those things that give me energy. Sometimes it's just lighting a candle and enjoying the aroma. I'm also into like oil diffusers,
Yeah.
essential oils, and smells are important to me. So those little things that help me kind of come back to center.
I love it. And I think the audience does too. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just being blessed with so many little nuggets and wisdom from our wonderful guest, Lavenia Whitner. And I want to now close out with our very special invitation. I would like for you to tell everyone, first and foremost, about your role with WCR Cobb. And you might have a little event happening this Thursday that you want to tell the people. Tell
Sure.
us all about it.
As I mentioned, I'm the 2023 president for Women's Council of Realtors Cobb Network. At Women's Council, our mission is, excuse me, we're a network of real successful realtors that are advancing women in business and the industry and the communities that we serve. So it's business, industry, and community is what we're about at Women's Council. So Women's Council of Cobb this week in terms of the business and helping you advance yourself in business. We have digital domination, online strategies for the real estate professional that will be uh, facilitated and taught by our illustrious Sabrina Lowery here on Thursday at Chattahoochee Technical College here in Marietta, 11 a.m. Sorry, 10:30. Starts at 10:30.
Yes, it does. And I created a bit.ly. So everybody go to bit.ly/WCR Cobb Tech and get your tickets today. And that way you will not miss all of the current trending technology platforms that you need, the systems, the strategies, and the checklist in order to be successful. I will also be bringing some books to give away, the Entrepreneur's Blueprint for Digital Dominance, so that you can get that technology blueprint that you've been needing and wanting. Get those strategies right there in the book. I will also have Social Etiquette, which is my second bestseller, talking all about the etiquette of socializing with technology, because Lord knows our babies need it. And I'll be bringing one of my newest products, which is our Boss Planner Folio. And so, if you are looking for some things to boss up your business, to plan your technology, to get those online strategies, then we need you to go on over to bit.ly/. WCR Cobb Tech. And that is where you can register. We are keeping registration open because we know how the realtors like to do at the last minute. And unfortunately, because we have a phenomenal venue with the latest trending technology that you don't want to miss this technology presentation and demonstration. Bring your devices, bring your laptop, bring the cam, bring your microphones, bring those Bluetooth clickers that you don't know how to work, and get your hands, excuse me, get your hands on tech support, because that's really what you need, right? And so we
Right.
were also talking about some other giveaways. I will be bringing my 3D printer to bless someone that attends this class. And so if you are looking to dominate your digital presence, your business needs to be online. And if you've never had a strategy or anyone to coach you and guide you hands on delivering success by the end of 3 hours, then you definitely are in for a treat this Thursday. And again, as Lavenia said, all of the details are on Eventbrite. The bit.ly is available. Y'all just go click right now. We need you to be there or be
Yep.
square, honey.
Looking
All right,
forward to it.
Lavinia. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I want again to invite you to our upcoming CE class. Please share this video. Thank you so much for the love. I see your hearts and your love and your comments here on the live stream. And for those of you that catch the replay, post your comments. What keeps you motivated? Are you still celebrating women's history? Because we sure are. And I want to celebrate you and give you your flowers here today, Lavenia. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for being a leader that truly believes in collaboration over competition.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
All right, everyone, let's give a nice virtual round of applause to our guests. Make sure that you register, connect with Lavenia, her website again, teamwhitner.com. If you post your comments or your questions in the replay, she'll come back and answer you after tonight's broadcast. So we want you to stay in touch. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been yet another phenomenal webisode of the Geek Talk Show, and I couldn't be more pleased to host the occasion as we are closing out the month of March. Can you believe it? We are still celebrating women's history, and we just heard a phenomenal story from a phenomenal woman. Y'all, please stay connected to our special guests. Use the resources that they provide. Solicit help, promote their business. All it is a like, a tag, and a share. It's those simple things in the world that we all need so that we can all show up and go up together. If you need to get in touch with yours truly, you can book a consultation right on my website, SabrinaLoweryEnterprises.com. And I want to be sure that you know, for all of your real estate needs, all you got to do is go to Legacy Realty and Management.com, where we specialize in all things real estate, but we specifically work on the project management, the flips, and the property management. So you can go on our website, check out our featured properties, or book a consultation today. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for showing up and showing out and being present in this moment in history. I am Sabrina Lowery. I am so thankful for each and every week when you show up with me here on the Geek Talk Show, where I am giving expert knowledge to entrepreneurs. And I also want to be sure that you all save the date. Our upcoming book launch for Ladies in Tech is happening on May the 5th. The books are on my website in the shop now. Go on over, support your girl, order your copy of Ladies in Tech, sharing expertise for a successful career. It's going to be a winner. It's definitely going to be a bestseller with your support. This anthology project is being launched and curated by the visionary Kenyatta Powers Rucker, and I cannot wait for you all to see and meet all of my fellow co-authors and phenomenal women in tech. Thank you so much. This concludes tonight's broadcast. Thank you for tuning in, showing up. Thank you so much, Derek, for being here in the broadcast and supporting women in real estate, in business, and in tech. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll be talking to you real soon. Take care.